Blitzwing is one of the earliest triple changer and a figure I absolutely adore. So, without further ado, here are reasons why I love Blitzwing. Reason number 1. The robot mode, the most important mode of a transformer, is super cool. It's very well executed. The robot actually looks really proportionate. His arms, his legs are the right length, nothing is too long, nothing is too short. He stands quite well, thanks to the heavy die-cast parts at the lower legs that form kind of the feet. It's really easy to make him stand. He stands really firmly, even though he's a little bit heavy on top too, because he's got lots of die-cast in it. But still he stands very, very nicely, and it's just a very well put together robot mode that I just really, really like. Of course, you're not getting much articulation with him, just as it is expected from a Generation 1 toy. The only articulation he's got is basically just you can move his arms a little bit, but to tell you the truth, I'm not really missing that much more articulation with him. I think what he's got is fine. So, robot mode A+. Reason number 2. I like how the different modes have very distinct color schemes going on. Like, robot mode is a mix of this tan military color with the Decepticon purple, and in tank mode he's basically completely tan colored, like as if he just stepped out of some military desert operations or something like that. So except for this little jet engine part that actually is showing in tank mode, the color scheme is really consistent and different. In jet mode he's dominantly purple, and of course you have a little bit of the tan parts showing. He's basically having his tank mode on the bottom. You can remove the turret if you want, but I like to leave it on. So you have this purple jet, and I really like not just the color differences between the different modes, but also the way they are very distinctly differently shaped. Like, you can see that the jet mode is dominantly a triangle. You could see that the tank mode is obviously a different shape, and it's shaped like a tank. So it's not like when, for example, you had with Astro Train, where all the modes are basically just an elongated form with different panels flipped on. These modes are very distinct looking, and in this sense I think this triple changer is the best out of all of the ones that came out together. I mean, like Springer, Sandstorm, Astro Train, and all the guys like that, because this one has the most distinct looking modes in either form and color wise. So very well done. I love all the different modes that he has. Reason number 3. Also, I love the fact that the different modes make sense. Like, it really makes sense for him to have an aerial mode and a tank mode together. They go well together, because, you know, I can imagine situations when he needs to be a tank and go through stuff and have great firepower, and also he's nimble and swift, and he can change into a jet and just be fast and fly through things, fly over things. So it really makes sense, and in my mind it makes him a really strong Decepticon, because he's got all these different modes that can be used pretty well. So well done, great figure and great character. Reason number 4. Transformation is fun and clever. I especially like the way it sort of auto-transforms in a way as you flip open these little fins for jet mode. You have to press it here, and as you flip them open they sort of elevate you these die-cast parts that are also the tail fins, so they are actually helping you get them out. It's very cleverly designed, and it also requires you to, you know, to pay attention and not just rush into it, because you might break these little sensitive parts, but the design of it is very cleverly done.
Reason number 5.
The accessories are not required for you to have the different modes complete. For example, what I mean is that you can put his little missile in this little socket here, but it does not make the jet mode that much more complete. It's just a feature that you can shoot it out. So the modes are complete without any accessories being put on, if you don't count the turret as an extra accessory, which I don't. So after all the love I showed you for this figure, let's see the reasons why I hate this figure. Reason number 1. He's got a lot of accessories. In order for you to pick up this figure complete, you will need to have his sword, his little gun, and these little missiles that he comes with. I have the reissue version, and this one came with 4 missiles. So I definitely recommend you to pick that one up, because let's face it, these little accessories get lost pretty easily, especially these missiles which fire for a really long range, and to tell you the truth, quite heavily, and I can see why it's easy to lose them. Reason number 2. I mentioned with the transformation that you really have to take care and follow the instructions closely, because if you don't, it's very easy to break this figure. He can be quite fragile, even if you're not transforming him or just playing with him. These wing parts are often broken off if you're looking at figures online. Of course, the turret gets lost quite easily, and this extending turret can also be broken off quite easily. The plastic is not that strong, and well, you just really need to be careful with it. So it's a figure that requires quite a lot of care in this regard, and I really don't recommend it for small children, because the transformation is, well, as fun and creative as it is, it really requires you to follow the steps closely described in the manual. Reason number 3. The robot can get quite flimsy with age, and his weak point is especially at the knees, because as the transformation goes, you're pulling the legs out like this, and if this mechanism gets damaged, the legs won't snap into place, and it means that he won't stand up. He will just collapse, the way Astra Train did in my previous review. And sadly, this is a thing that you can't really check by looking at the pictures online. If you're planning to buy a figure, you can't really know just based on the picture what kind of condition the knee joint is in, and this makes picking up a vintage figure quite difficult, because you really need to ask the seller about the condition of this joint, because it's quite hard to fix, and well, it will ruin your robot mode definitely if it's not tight enough. With that said, also the turret part tends to become quite flimsy. Actually, I picked this one up boxed. As I mentioned, this is a reissue version, and the turret was quite flimsy. You could take it off quite easily. It wouldn't stay up like this as it's supposed to. It would turn around and flip down. What I did is I removed it and I put a little bit clear nail polish inside, so it really stiffened up the joint, and as you can see it's quite stiff now. It fixed the issue quite well.
Well, for this review, I really tried to list both the negative and the positive thoughts that I had about this figure, and as you could see, the positives greatly outweigh the negatives, and I think this is a really great figure to pick up if you like Generation 1 Transformers. The different modes are great, transformation is great, and I think out of the early triple changers, this one is the best figure. So thank you for watching this review, stay tuned for more, take care and bye bye!